Hello friends, let's start with our very fresh chapter of Code AI Plus. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. It will keep me motivating. So our very first chapter is Computer, History and Generations. It's part of grade 5 CBSE. So we'll begin it. So computer, history and generations. So after completing this chapter, you will be able to understand and learn about early calculating devices, know about the first electromechanical computer and electronic computer, and understand about different generations of computer. So here we have a tiny robot which tells us that the computer which you see today was not like this before. It took many years to make the computer as you see it today. Let us look at the history and generations of the computer. So before that we have to start with a rhyme. From the first abacus to the modern machine, computers have evolved in a world unseen. As we look to the future that will come next, only time will tell in this technological text. Okay, so this is a rhyme. Now here we will start with the concept of counting. So we all start learning about the counting at the age of like 3 or 3.5, right? So when we first go to the LKG, before that also our parents tell us like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So let's see this concept of counting, which is very primitive. The computer is an electronic machine that has touched every aspect of our lives, making our work faster, easier and well organized, isn't it? So it is an electronic machine and it's everywhere into our life. Where can you find a computer? In the bank, school, library, at a railway station, airport, hospital, government offices and so many private organizations. Why we use computer? They are faster, easier and well organized. We rely on computers for most of our daily work. It has been a combination of efforts and ideas of many people from all over the world that has resulted in the computers that we see and use today. So who started using this computer or making this computer? So many people. So many people put their efforts and ideas and they kept inventing. The concept of counting started with the evolution of human beings. In the ancient times, people used to count with the help of fingers, toes, stones, sticks and bones. See how many fingers do we get? 10 toes, then stones, and then they started with the sticks and ultimately with the bones. Also they have added pebbles and so many things to it. Okay, and what will they do? They will store the information by making marks on walls, rocks or whatever they find convenient. In the course of time, it became difficult to do bigger and complex calculations with such a method. So there was a need of some kind of device which could make the task easier. Thus, the first calculating device, abacus, was invented, and abacus was invented by Chinese people. Of course, they have so much of the population. So let's see about the early calculating devices. So first one is abacus. So nowadays also this is treated as a very effective, efficient method of calculations. Abacus was the first calculating device invented about 5000 years ago by the Chinese. Simple calculations like addition and subtraction were performed using the abacus. It is still in use in many parts of the world. You might have also seen so many abacus ads around you, and many of you might be learning it also and giving the exams of abacus. Next came as Napier's bone, which was developed by, of course, John Napier. In 1670, a Scottish mathematician, John Napier, invented a calculating device called Napier's bones. This device is a set of rectangular rods marked with numbers on them. It was meant for simple calculations like addition, subtraction, and multiplication of numbers. Later on, it was improved to perform division and find out the square root. So, as we also have seen this part, like it's okay to do addition and subtraction, even people find multiplication also easier and interesting. But when it comes to division, then we find it little bit hard, and to find out the square root also. So I guess you know the concept of square root. If not, you will learn it soon. Next device is Pascaline. It was developed by Blaise Pascal. In 1642, a French mathematician, so earlier it was a Scottish mathematician. Now you can see a French mathematician named Blaise Pascal invented the first mechanical computing machine known as Pascaline. It consisted of a box with movable gears that could add, subtract, multiply and divide the numbers very easily. Okay. Now our next machine is Leibniz step reckoner. So in 1673, the more advanced calculating machine named step reckoner was developed by German mathematician. Okay, so people from Scotland, France, and now here comes a German person. So he developed, his name was Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. So he started with a step reckoner. It could perform all four basic mathematical operations. Now next came analytical engine. In 1822, a mathematics professor of Cambridge University, England, Charles Babbage, developed a machine known as difference engine. It could perform mathematical operations automatically. However, in 1833, Babbage had a better idea. So how many days it took? Almost 10 years. And he stopped working on a difference engine and started designing another machine called analytical engine. It had 5 key features: input device, storage unit, processor, control unit and output device. All these 5 features are found in today's modern computers also. Okay, so these 5: input device, storage unit, processor, control unit and output device, you can find this concept in today's computer as well. Therefore, Charles Babbage is also known as the father of computer. Next is tabulating machine. In 1890, Hermann Hollerith, an army engineer, invented the tabulating machine. This tabulating machine was used in census to count the population of the USA. It gave a quick count of the US population. The use of tabulating machine was so successful that Hollerith formed a company that later became famous as the International Business Machine or IBM. Then came Mark I. In 1944, Professor Howard Aiken built the first electromechanical computer named Mark I. It was 51 feet long, weighed 5 tons, and used a typewriter for input and punched cards for output. This device was the first computer in a real sense, but look at its size, guys. It's 51 feet long and it was 5 tons in its weight. Then came ENIAC and UNIVAC. Yeah, they sound like twins, but they are not. ENIAC is a elder brother of UNIVAC. John Mauchly and John Presper Eckert together built the first successful electronic digital computer known as ENIAC. You can see its long form as Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. It was made operational in 1946. ENIAC was 10 feet wide and 100 feet long. Oh my god, it is way too longer than our previous one. It occupied 1800 square feet of area and could perform 500 additions per second. That's pretty fast, right? Now comes its younger brother. In 1951, John Mauchly and John Presper Eckert developed another successful computer known as UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer. It could work on both numeric and textual information. It was the first commercial computer delivered to a business client. Okay, so you can see now, until this UNIVAC, people used to work only upon the numbers. Earlier it stopped at addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then they started with the textual information also. And now UNIVAC was delivered to business client also. US Census Bureau in 1951. Now let's move to the personal computer. This is one of the huge achievements. In 1981, so almost after 30 years, IBM introduced its first personal computer. We call it as PC also. And in 1984, they introduced the advanced version called PC-80, means Personal Computer Advanced Technology. These computers were smaller in size, faster in speed, more accurate and reliable. There are several types of personal computers available nowadays. Desktop computer, laptop computer and tablet computer are some of its examples. Now let's see generations of computer. Yeah, just like human being, computers, as you can see, they got evolved from just abacus to today's computers. So let's see different generations of computer. We all have different generations of people in our family, like grandparents, parents and children. Computer also has its different generations, like, which is the first one, ENIAC, then we got UNIVAC, then personal computer, that's PC, then we got desktop computer, then all-in-one computer, just like a laptop. You don't need another CPU and mouse and keyboard, it's all in one. Notebook, then comes a tablet PC, then we have a smartphone, and finally a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is just like you can see as a microprocessor. It's just like a plug and play device, but it's extremely expensive. Okay, now comes generations of computer. So generation means the production or creation of something. In terms of computer, it implies significant development and growth in computer technology. The development of computer technology took place in 5 distinct phases called computer generations. So how many stages are there? 5. The different computer generations are categorized according to their technology of basic computing elements. So let's learn about this. So what are first generation computers? They are categorized for around like 1946 to 1958. So it takes like 12 years. The first generation of computers started in 1946. The makers of these computers used thousands of vacuum tubes, which were often huge, taking up the space of an entire room. So you can see a vacuum tube. Then came second generation computers. It's considered as 1959 till 1964. So in the late 1950s, the second generation of computers were introduced. These computers used transistors in place of vacuum tubes. The transistors were far superior than vacuum tubes. They were far better. As you can see, the size of the transistors, they are much smaller than the vacuum tubes, because vacuum tubes would take like almost the size of a room. That allowed computers to become smaller, faster and more reliable than the first generation of the computers. Now came the third generation of computer. It was from 1965 till 1970. So in the mid 1960s, the development of integrated circuit IC was a major breakthrough, resulting in the introduction of third generation computers. So now the transistors were replaced by the integrated circuits. Nowadays also in so many devices you can easily find the transistors. You just need to ask your parents for the favor of to see the transistor, or simply go to any electronic repairing shop. That uncle or auntie will show you how a transistor looks like. Now the transistors were replaced by integrated circuits, also known as semiconductor chips, which made the computer more powerful and increased its speed and efficiency. So semiconductor chips, now also you might have heard about this. There is a boom for semiconductor chips. Now next comes fourth generation of the computers. It's like 1971 onwards. The fourth generation of computers started in 1971, and they used microprocessor, which is a single chip that does all the processing. So you can see here microprocessor, as its name suggests, it's really tiny. The size of computer became very small as thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single chip. These computers became more powerful and they could be linked together to form a network, which led to the development of internet. So this was one of the most important invention to get the fourth generation of computers. In 1981, IBM introduced its first personal computer for the home users, and in 1984 Apple introduced the Macintosh. The next one is fifth generation of computers. It's the present one and it's going beyond. The fifth generation of computers are based on artificial intelligence, AI. They are still in research and development phase. The main goal of the fifth generation is to develop the computers that can respond to natural language and are capable of learning and taking their own decisions. Now, what are natural languages? Natural languages are the one which humans speak, right? We do not talk to each other in the language of coding, right? Take 5 steps, then turn left and blah blah blah. No, we just talk normally. So now examples you might have heard about, like the assistants like Siri, Alexa, they take our commands to start the music, tell us the temperature or the news, right? So we talk with them in the natural language. So here we finish the computer history and generation. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you want some particular content, don't forget to comment it. Thank you.